Good afternoon, world. It's moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. Today is December 19th, and this is the 26th episode of Grit and Good News. And by the way, it's not quite our last one of the year, but be aware next week we will not be doing a show on Christmas Eve on the 24th or after on the 26th. But we're here to rock in the new year on
Right.
Tuesday the 31st. We'll be right back on January 2nd. Scott will have plenty to say about the bowl games. And we are
Yes, I will.
broadcasting. Yes, we will. And today, as we will then, we're broadcasting live from our palatial studio in downtown Waxahachie, Texas, in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse. And I'm your co-host, Jeff Lynch. Gives me great pleasure, honor, and joy, holiday joy, year-round joy, to introduce our host, my friend and yours, Scott Brooks.
Thank you, brother. Look at my man, festive as can be, looking good. Jeff and I played golf the other day on Tuesday in I don't know, just a fun kind of charitable event, and had a blast. And to get the name Grit and Good News out there a little bit more, but we had a fun time. And
And Scott hadn't played in 6 years.
12 years.
12
Well, I
years.
hadn't been on a golf course in 12 years. I've swung a golf club. Last time was in Sammy, 2019 at Top Golf. But I had a blast,
Yeah.
and with my pal here, and weather was perfect.
Oh,
But we had a good time. So
could not have been more perfect.
yep, we're glad to be back here after missing this past Tuesday. And as Jeff just said, we won't be here next week. We're gonna make sure we spend all the time we can with our families. We'll be back on the 31st and the 2nd, and look forward to that. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on always. We're gonna start today with what really is a tragedy multiplied, if you ask me. And rarely in Waxahachie do we have these kinds of tragedies. I think the last time we had such a tragedy in Waxahachie involving a law enforcement officer, I'm not going to remember this year, but some watching will. But we had an officer who was killed in an accident, auto accident, due to a drunk driver, right in front of Taco Bell on 77 several years ago. And every year that comes up, that date, I know many people recognize the officer, and the officer was a wonderful guy. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And since then we have our tragedies, but we don't have this kind of tragedy.
Yeah.
And the tragedy to which I'm referring is on Monday afternoon at about 3:30 in our jail, which is run by the sheriff's office of Ellis County. A young detention officer named Isaiah Bias, I think that's how you say it, Bias, Bias, 26 years old, was taken care of and on watch with an inmate who was on a 23-hour solitary confinement, had an hour every day to be able to go out and do whatever they do over there. I don't know if there's an outdoor area.
Walk around.
I've toured the jail, but I know there's an area where they can walk around a little bit and exercise. Well, when he was being put back into his cell, he turned on the young detention officer and beat him to death. And when I was told that Monday night, it just was a bit surreal. Like, can you say that again?
Right.
And what's weird is that at about that precise time on Monday, I was driving by the jail. And you see the jail and you think about, what is it like being in there? And God forbid.
The location of that jail, okay, if you're a longtime resident in Ellis County or Waxahachie, you know where it is.
Mhm,
But it's on the back side of that deal
Yeah.
of the building that it's in.
mhm,
So a lot of people might not even really realize that we have a jail downtown, and people in particular that live up in the north end of town like you that don't hardly ever come
Right.
downtown. You think about our downtown,
mhm,
peace, quiet, safe, and it doesn't diminish all those things,
Right.
but there's just an eeriness of
Yeah.
it happening in our little downtown.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, I know Doug went to the press conference, and
Yes.
I know we're following the investigation.
Yes.
It's the Texas Rangers are going to investigate it, right?
Yes. Which is I think, pretty common.
Here's a couple of things. I talked with somebody um, who's quite familiar with jails. Matter of fact, one of my best buddies is a warrant officer and takes people to a jail. Has been doing it for a long, long time.
Hmm.
Um, and there's inside cameras,
Right.
and I'm wondering about some of the protocol that I would expect the Rangers to check into. And
Hmm.
one was, is it normal for only one person to escort somebody back and forth?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Okay.
I've been, I recall as a participant one year, I think in 2015 or 16, Leadership Waxahachie, part of that curriculum is to go over to the jail to uh, tour it, to
Hmm.
be, not where the prisoners are, but be in there and seeing, you can see the prisoners. And I mean, it is a fascinating tour. And so they have pods, so they have different, they have a space where there's maybe 40 prisoners, or 20, whatever the number is, in like a dormitory, big open,
Hmm.
and then another one, and another one, and another one, and in the middle of that, outside those doors, are the police, the law enforcement, the deputies,
Hmm.
the detention officers, and they got all kinds of screens and stuff like
Right.
that. So I don't this at some point we're going to have Ellis County Sheriff Brad Norman, who I think very highly of and respect and believe runs I know he runs a good ship, as it were, over there, uh, notwithstanding what just happened. But I want to have him on at some point, and of course, we won't be able to get any details from him until the investigation is done.
Right.
So it does beg the question: well, how could something like that happen? It's the most common question I've got
Right.
as the publisher of the paper since then.
And are you aware, have there been any type of requests for more personnel there?
I I, I think uh, the sheriff has built a system, has built the personnel. I mean, he's confined to a budget, sadly,
Right.
so he can only do what he's able to afford. And
Right. And yet, but usually if people don't think there's enough
yeah,
money, they go ask for some more.
true.
And all I'm getting to is if it's something that we need to put more money
It
into,
may
we
be.
surely,
Yeah,
now I say
that's
we, the county.
yeah, that's often when things like this happen, whether it be here or abroad, people will say, well, even in some of the comments when we posted the story, people were harsh, saying, well, it looks like, a ratio of one officer to 43 inmates, which I don't know how anybody really knows that. I don't think that's the case, although it could be. I don't think so, because how can that be?
Right.
In this case, it does make you step back and say, okay, let's just run this. Each of us our mind's eye can picture create the picture
Hmm.
in our own way and say, okay, how could this happen? So it was a one-on-one setting. The inmate was being taken back to his cell. The inmate has been in the jail for about less than 2 months, I believe. He's had violence in his past. Uh, Isaiah
I
Bias
mean,
is,
3 times, and he was
yeah,
in there for that.
yes. And
Yeah.
so Isaiah Bias was an officer for 7 years, or on staff 7 years. And so you wonder, how could this happen? And if it's one on one and the dude isn't, I mean, I don't know if he's handcuffed and he's walking around, or if he's not. How does an
And that all
officer get
comes
beat to
down
death?
to the protocols.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. And I'll tell you, I don't think he's handcuffed because in one of the reports that I read, or they said that after he beat him up, he sat down on a bench and waited to be handcuffed
Okay.
and taken on.
Yeah.
I'm
So, I
going,
mean, you
you
think
know,
about it. You think about that. And I don't want to get any more morbid than this, but one punch to somebody can knock them out.
right.
And you're knocked out. It's game. If somebody wants to beat you to death, they're going to beat you to death.
They own you.
And so, but my guess is that's kind of something along
Yeah.
those lines happened. Sammy, as you put up yeah. So on the screen, you can see that the memorial service for uh, Isaiah Bias is next Monday at 11 a.m. in Midlothian, at the Midlothian do they call it Center? Can you see that on there, Sammy? It's where it's essentially Midlothian Civic Center, and because this will be quite well attended. But I just, I've often said that as publisher of the paper and as gatekeeper of all of our different platforms, underneath all of that is my desire for these platforms to serve as a moat around Waxahachie. And to the extent that we can, that we fight back any of the world's ills getting into Waxahachie. And yet and I think to some extent, along with the help of a lot of other people out there who are running the city, or community leaders, there are some church leaders, not enough, who are also doing the same thing. Waxahachie has been kept somewhat pure insofar as we haven't had these sorts of things. And yet when you least expect something like this in a place where you least expect it to happen, it happens. And it makes me even double down more on purging the evil.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder why it's at the Midlothian rather than the Waxahachie. But as you were talking, I'm trying to think through my
It
own
may be
answer.
where his family preferred it to be. Yeah.
It may be the logistics of it being crammed onto that frontage road, and just the flow would not be good
Yeah.
into
Plus, the Civic Center here has a lot of events going on, particularly this
yeah,
time of year. So it may be that there's some
sure,
conflict. But
sure.
if you have any interest in attending that, again, it's on the screen for you. You can go to Waxahachie's son's Facebook page, our Facebook page, and you can see it in detail there. Isaiah Bias was, again, 26 years old. I think of him. You can see the picture of him, a handsome young man,
Mm.
got the world in his, ahead of him, and some thug. And these people who, these prisoners are people too, and all that sort of thing. You beat somebody to death, you're a thug, and unprovoked. Uh, I just can't. Uh, when I talked to Brad or texting Brad the other night, it was Monday night about 8 o'clock, and Brad was at the hospital waiting for Isaiah Bias's mom to get there. And I thought, man, what a trip that had to be for her to wherever. I think he's from Waco, and I'm not sure where she was coming from, but I'm just thinking, man, she's driving, knowing already what's happened. She's driving to be with her son.
Mm.
And so if you
Yeah.
want to go, I know that the family would appreciate it. I would imagine there'll be law enforcement officers from all across the country there. It'll be quite the scene for sure. And on behalf of Grit and Good News, Waxahachie Sun, and all of our employees, we want to offer our condolences to the Bias family. Want to offer our sympathies to the sheriff's department. I know they're taking it very hard. This young man was well liked, well respected. Lots of great things have been said about him. And if one of our employees went through something like that, I don't even know what I would do. I've lost employees over my career, some to illness, some to car accidents. But I can't think of anything outside those two uh, things that someone under my responsibility passed away. I couldn't imagine this. So we want to just say to everyone out there affected by this, you have our sympathies, and we'll have some photos and that sort of thing of the memorial service. But we just wanted to share a little bit more this morning. Anything else on that?
No, it's just it's a sad world that we live
It
in,
is.
and
It really is.
you know,
Do you know how depraved you have to be I mean, have to
and
look at somebody and say, I'm going to just beat you to death with my hands.
and what goes on in your life to turn your life to where you would ever do that.
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
then you know what? After we talk about Cam Coons, we're going
Yeah, it's
to
another
another
similar.
story on a national basis.
Yeah.
So
So Cancun's is one of our sponsors. We're proud of that. And you hear us talk about it every show. Cancun's is a Ameritex Mex restaurant here in Waxahachie. Has been here a long, long time. About 4 years ago, they moved from an older place to a brand new facility on 77, about 2.5 miles north of the bypass on the west side of the road. You can't miss it. It's right there, just a little bit behind, kind of one of those plaza deals. But you can't miss the sign. But if you're looking for great Mexican food, uh, Mexican seafood, Tex-Mex, great um, appetizers, great bar scene, great drinks, all that stuff. It's just a really wonderful place, wonderful people. My wife and I love to go over there and cut up. But Cancun's is a great place. If you spend $20 or more there, and you will, you now through the end of the year can get if you go to Down Home, our app Down Home, you'll find a coupon section. You can find a coupon for Cancun's of free order of sopapillas. So when you go to Cancun's, be sure to show them that coupon, and they'll bring out some hot, fresh sopapillas. 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, I think.
Slather them with
Oh
butter,
man, butter and honey like
honey.
nobody's business. They're good.
Good
So
eating.
Cancun's is a place for you when you're hungry for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. All right. Wrote yesterday a column entitled "A Moral Inversion," and we just talked a little bit about what part of the column talks about. But the country experienced another horrific. Uh, it's a tragedy, but it's not. You know, when I hear the word tragedies, I often think of accidents. But the tragedy with the CEO from United Health, is it United Healthcare?
Yeah.
United Healthcare was no accident. It was a hit in the dark hours.
Premeditated.
Yeah, premeditated. This guy Luigi. Now that we all have seen this story, we see them refer to him as Luigi, as though he's some kid next door. But Luigi had,
He's currently the most famous Luigi in the world, and he
yeah,
will be forever at this
yeah, that's
point.
right. And so he builds a gun using uh, uh, what do they call those? A printer. What do they call them, Sammy? You
A
know,
3D
3D
printer.
printer. Yeah, he builds what they call a ghost gun. So nothing had to be registered anywhere, and he uses that. He created a silencer as well, 3D silencer. So he uses that weapon to target a man who's going to a different hotel in New York City to attend a conference, and shoots him, kills him. And I've seen the whole video, not just the part that's been on TV. It's incredible. Uh, Brian Thompson, the CEO, saw exactly who it was that killed him because he ended up turning around before he passed away, standing up, and he could see Luigi. But here we have a scenario in which a guy, he's also 26 or 27, kills a man, innocent man, in terms of everything else. You may not like the insurance companies, but he wasn't a criminal. He
Right.
wasn't on the run. He wasn't on. Brian Thompson was a CEO of a company.
And Scott, I got to tell you, that the tragedy that happened that day has created further tragedy. And you go,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? The tragedy is, and that happened on December 4th. And on December 5th, when we talked about it, I said, I hope that this doesn't create a class of copycat people, of intelligent, educated people who are disgruntled about something. They think that's the way that they should solve things. And guess what? Now we're seeing it all over where people are just falling over themselves, understanding, oh, we all have things that drive us crazy, and sometimes we just end up acting on them. AOC throwing in, all kind of politicians throwing in, makes me want to puke.
Yeah,
And
it
and I
does.
have a dear friend in Minnesota who I always remember. And he's a good newspaper reader also,
Hmm.
and he'll read something, and we'll talk about it the next day. And um, he has a derisive way of quoting what you sometimes would see in a column. They say it was a system failure. It wasn't that person's fault.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
yeah,
It was the system that
yeah.
made it happen.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, and the other part of this is, I think it's mostly a female reaction. He is so handsome.
Mhm,
Oh my gosh.
mhm.
Oh my God. Fawning over the guy like he's the guy you need to be dating.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
so
some
so
take
that,
it to
that's
that
that's
extent.
just taking the tragedy, and now
Yeah,
I think this is as tragic
yeah.
is
So
what's happening now.
indulge me this vent, if you will. I mean, I didn't vent in my column. I try not to do that. It's not the place to vent. But the venting associated with my column is that uh, that we have as a society, it's almost like the church of relativism, where now there are churches that are actually built on that, meaning that it's relevant and relative to the society in which we live, this our church. So the Church of Relativism says, if you are if you're a murderer, and if you're this or you're that, uh, and because of the society in which we live and the rough times that we live, come in, and we don't see you as being uh, a source of evil or an extension of evil. We see you as somebody, as a victim, more of a victim of your circumstance or society's circumstance or your upbringing or whatever it is. That is what's happening here. And it's just not a church issue, it's a society issue, where really the elasticity that once served as the boundaries for society in the morality and ethics and integrity has not frayed anymore. That elasticity has snapped, so that now anything goes. And when a guy like Luigi, who again, he took a bus, he built these weapons, he took a bus to from Atlanta to New York. He did the deed within an hour after that. So by 8 o'clock that morning, Luigi was on a bus to Philadelphia. He then took another bus back to Pittsburgh, which I've lived in Pittsburgh and been to Philadelphia, and those are on opposite ends of the state. So it's not like, those are simple little drives. So he stays on a bus, gets to Pittsburgh, takes another bus back to Altoona, which is back towards Philadelphia. So Luigi had planned this escape, if you will, where he wasn't going to be found. And I mean, of all places, I wouldn't look in Altoona, Pennsylvania, for a Luigi, but Luigi has become sort of a cult hero. It's like the Menendez brothers, and
Exactly.
and the ladies, people from all walks of life have made him out to be somewhat of a hero. There are women, young women, who are wanting to date this guy, talk with this guy, have a relationship with this guy, and as a result, we kind of just said, okay, no big deal. He killed somebody, but he killed a guy who really, because of the way he's run United Healthcare, deserved it, because the health industry is killing people either because of poor remedies or medicine, neglect, refusing insurance claims, and so on and so forth, treatments. And I get all that. I mean, we probably both have been a victim in that sense, of some knucklehead somewhere at an insurance company that says, no, Mr. Brooks might have this, but he doesn't need that. He doesn't need that to cure it. That sort of thing goes on every day, and sometimes in a very unfair, and what some might consider an illegal way. But Brian Thompson, the CEO, a father of two, whatever you think of him, he didn't deserve to be murdered in cold blood.
No.
And Luigi, despite what Luigi thought of Brian Thompson or United Healthcare, is not to be given uh, a pass because of whatever feelings that Luigi himself had. And he's certainly not a hero. He, in and of himself, is a thug as well. He's a thug. There are other ways to deal with this than shooting somebody initially in the back. You can't get any more cowardly than that. And after 5 times of shoot 5 shots, he dies. And so the idea, the column, a moral inversion, is that we have got it backwards. And the quote that I used from God's word was, "Woe to those," meaning, man, it's not going to be pretty to those who, or for those who call good evil and evil good, and there were other examples in the column in that quote. That and that's what's going on everywhere. The Bible speaks of how these days there will come a time when people will do what I just said, and they'll scorn their parents. They'll find evil good and good evil, and I'll be damned if we aren't living in those times right now.
Scoring the parents, that's where I'd
Yeah.
like to make a comment,
Okay. Sure.
because when you go down to root causes, that's when you find out what really happens.
Yeah.
And I've got a poem called Crybabies, and talking about how a baby becomes a crybaby. And I mentioned that no, it's not parents that know, they they can't say no. They can't stand up to their whining pup.
Mhm.
If you don't stand up to your kid, the inmates are running the asylum, man,
Yeah.
and that's your issue. And that takes you to what we want to talk about about Daniel
The penny.
Penny.
Right.
Yeah, the same thing that we're talking about media reaction. Here's a guy that sees a tragedy happening, and he takes matters into his own hand like a good Samaritan. And and the guy dies. Yeah, the guy did die, but you know he had to hold him a long time to get him restrained. And at a point, the guy passed out, and all these other factors. Da 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 da. But now you got all kind of politicians and people of color who are calling it a racial thing.
Hmm.
And do they not really understand that most of the people on the subway who were scared,
Right.
who all testified that they were scared, who were all happy that somebody saved them, were
Hmm.
black, and
Yeah.
and now you're turning that into a racial deal. Let it go,
Yeah. I,
man.
as long as there are race baiters alive, connect the dots is the easiest way. The easiest of ways to sin unknowingly. Also, hello everyone, happy holidays. Same to you. Connect the dots. Thank you for being with us. Yeah. So my column says basically at the end of the day, Luigi Mangione is a murderer.
Right.
He's a thug murderer. Daniel Penny is a hero, and you can debate that all you want to, but as I see it, somebody on my in response to my column commented, "Well, uh, uh, I'm judging people," and another comment was innocent until proven guilty, and all that. Of course, I believe that, and of course, I don't want to be a judge. I've got to take care of my own life before I worry about somebody else's. However, I saw the video. So I'm not judging anybody. I'm saying I watched the video of a young man kill a man old enough to be as double his age, um, in cold blood. So he murdered somebody. The idea of being innocent until proven guilty, he'll be proven guilty. Now there might be some crackpot jury that'll get up there, just like with the O.J. Simpson case, and say, for all these stupid, you know what reasons, we're going to come up with ways to find this guy innocent or guilty of a lesser charge, because he's got many charges on that he's facing. So, but I'm saying in the most logical sense, you got guy kills somebody, he's a murderer. You got a guy, Daniel Penny, who, like you said, protected people on the subway system, many and most of who were African American, who did testify in favor of Daniel Penny being a hero. Daniel Penny is a hero. If the drug addict who got on that subway system threatening everybody loudly that he was going to kill somebody today, and Daniel Penny wasn't there, or Daniel Penny was like most of America and just sat on his hands, somebody very well could have died that day. And so that's the problem with our society, is there aren't enough Daniel Pennies there. Now I'm not suggesting that we become vigilantes, but Daniel Penny wasn't a vigilante. Daniel Penny was trying to, one, save himself from what, who knows what that dude had on him, in terms of weapons. So, uh, and the young man died as a result of being subdued. That doesn't make Daniel Penny a murderer, in my opinion. And these
Right.
clowns that hold these press conferences, BLM and all that nonsense, BLM leader gets up there and says, we are going to be vigilantes. We're going to start taking matters into our own hands. It's absurd, and yet the whole point of the column is to say that's what society has become. We become a society of victims. We become a society of justification for those who do evil, commit evil, and it's got to stop. And if we're not the only two on that island of those who, like Daniel Penny,
We
who would
hope.
say, yeah, I mean, if I were on that subway, I'm here to tell you, I might have I might have lost trying to. I mean, Daniel Penny is a former Marine, and knows how to do all that. I know how to get my hands around somebody's neck. I don't know if I know how to chokehold them.
If I was on that subway, I know this. I don't I know that I don't have the capability to do what he did. Okay. And I don't mean the mental wherewithal. I mean the physical wherewithal, training, and talent and ability. Now, I'd be happy to come help when you got the guy down.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all I can at that point. But
Yeah.
um, thank God, thank God for Daniel Penny, and thank
Yeah. Daniel Penny's a hero,
yeah,
and Luigi's a murderer. But society's got to get its act together. That's the whole point of the column, and we can't be inverting all these what God put into us.
yeah,
We can't. No more relativism. It is what it is, and I have a responsibility to calling it as I see it.
and
That's
you
what the
did,
column's
and you
about.
did, and we could talk all day,
We could,
but we're gonna talk about Mr. Rooter at this
Mr.
point,
Rooter.
okay?
Yes,
And that is a great sponsor that they have, and they started in 1970. So for 54 years, they they're all over North America, but they have local ownership. What a combination. They're part of Neighborly, which is a great organization of like-minded service companies whose philosophy is the neighborly done right promise. They do both residential and commercial work, and when you deal with them, you're always going to get licensed experts, always going to get insured plumbers, guaranteed parts and workmanship, courteous, uniformed professionals, locally owned and operated, as I mentioned, and convenient appointment times. And they will arrive on time. They will keep your home clean with mats and shoe covers. They will provide a price before they start. They're going to give you high quality, durable repairs and stand behind your work. And so I did not mention that they do remodeling also.
hmm
And so if you want them for any need, you call them up at 469 214 5179 or 469 240 3113. And you can find them on the World Wide Web at Mr. Rooter, ROOTER.com /Waxahachie.
Thank you. All right, we've got the rough news out of the way that we wanted to talk about today, and so now I'm gonna turn it over to Jeffrey and Sammy. We're gonna go a little bit Christmassy here and have a little bit of fun. Then we'll be tackling our this day in history and our
Yeah.
meme of the day. But Jeff, it's all yours.
Scott told me one day in November leading up to Thanksgiving that the day after Thanksgiving he puts Christmas music on and listens to it all the
No,
time.
no, the day after.
After Thanksgiving,
1201, no. 1201, November 1st,
November 1st,
after Halloween.
after Halloween.
On comes the Christmas music. So I'm dreading that next week at this time I have to turn, no, yeah, I have to turn the Christmas music off.
So I'm a big fan of Christmas music also, and a big music fan overall. And I'm going to play you. I call it the 10 Christmas song versions you've never heard, or you've never heard. You know, a lot of these songs you're going to say, "Well, I've heard that song, but I've never heard it by this person." And I'm going to play you some obscure songs that I know you've never heard. And Sam, are we all ready? What do we got?
We're going to segments of the songs. We're not playing the whole
Yeah,
song because it will be here till next Christmas.
and we're going to open with "Let There Be Peace on
Oh,
Earth,"
yeah. I got
which
to do
is
my Vanna White stuff. So
such a good way to start after what
this,
we're talking
this
about.
has a Winn Dixie logo on it. So Lord knows how old this thing is.
Yeah,
Peace on Earth, Volume 1. How's that for modeling stuff? All right. So you're going to
and
play a
it's by the
snippet of
Boys
that song.
Choir of Harlem. Here we go.
Boys Choir of Harlem. All right. You're going to mess it up. Dirt in the ice cream.
Hello, people.
So those are young men. Harlem, what are they? Harlem
Harlem
Boys
Boys Choir.
Choir.
Yeah.
Those, if we heard those guys right now, they'd be real lovely. That's good. That was very good.
And so
All right.
so next we're gonna go to an instrumental version by Kenny G. And I'm going to give you a bonus point here for the history quiz. I want you to tell me green sleeves. What's the other name for besides green sleeves?
I don't have a
You'll know
dang
it when
clue.
you hear it.
All right, wait, I got it. So everybody, Kenny G and his wild hair playing his clarinet. Sam, you ever seen Kenny G? The dude can play now. There are many marriages that came together, or relationships came together because of Kenny G and his music.
You want a little romance in your life? You pop on
There
a
it
little
is, right
Kenny G.
there. Better watch
I
out,
saw
Kennedy.
him at the Majestic Theater downtown with my wife once in concert. It was great.
Oh
Here we
yeah,
go.
he's awesome.
Green sleeves.
Sounds like Charlie Brown. Yeah. So good. So talented.
What child is this?
Oh yeah. And what's he call it?
Green Sleeves is the secondary title of that song.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Kenny G rocks, man. And that kind of Christmas music, that music right there in the background is in the family room, the
Yeah.
den, and everybody's gifts. That's just awesome.
And you've heard that a million
Yeah,
times.
yeah. I never knew it was green
Instrumental
sleeves.
only, and you've heard it a million times with the words
Oh, yeah.
also.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Very good.
Now we're gonna next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna rock you a little bit. And I also saw Ringo Starr in concert at the
Ringo.
WinStar. Ringo.
Ringo's still alive.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
Ringo. Is he the only one? No, Paul McCartney's
Yeah,
still alive.
and so who do you think could rock Little Drummer more than Ringo? And
Oh,
I do
man.
want to make a comment about this particular album, Christmas Collection. It also came out under a version called "I Want to Be Santa Claus," and this thing is full. There's 12 cuts on it. It's a nice combination of classics and original songs.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially "I Want to Be Santa Claus" is just a classic out of his. But I thought we'd rock a little bit with Little Drummer Boy. Here we
Yeah,
go.
very good. Ringo's a steel drummer, right? Good.
They told me, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, a newborn king to see, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. Our finest gifts we bring, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, to lay before the king, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. To honor him, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, here we come.
Very good. Yeah,
Bagpipes are coming in right there.
well, I told you the other day it was Trans Siberian Orchestra that plays a great, and they probably do, but what I was referring to, what I meant was, is it for God and Country, Sammy? Do you know that band, Love God and Country? There's one of them that play. It is an incredible version. It's like that. It's more rockish and big time sounds and big drums. That's good. I like that. Ringo did good.
All right. And so next we're going to go with a little Bob Dylan off of Christmas in the Heart 2009, his version of I'll Be Home for Christmas. And I was privileged to see him once in concert when he won the Nobel Prize for literature, and they couldn't find him, and it wasn't that hard to find. He was up in WinStar. It wasn't that hard
Oh,
to
but yeah.
find. You
Did
know,
you understand
the
anything he
people
said?
also. Yeah, a little
Christmas
bit.
in the Heart. There's a
Christmas in
movie
the-
out about him right now.
Oh, I want to see it too.
Yeah.
Let's
All
roll
right,
it.
Sam. Christmas in the Heart.
You've all heard this song, never heard this version.
I'll be home for Christmas.
Poor Bob.
Yeah. Paul Mauser, the word of cheap
You
bourbon.
can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on a tree. Christmas Eve will find me.
He sounds like he's about to take his last breath, doesn't he?
He
He sounds
does.
like he's laying on his back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't say anymore. And anybody watching that needs a dose of hope and proof that there's always, it's like that old Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber. So, when the chick tells him he isn't gonna date, they won't date. 99.99% we won't. So do you still think there's a chance or something like that?
Yeah.
With Bob Dylan, he is an example.
Anybody can make it.
Yeah,
He grew up in the Iron Range in northern Minnesota,
crazy,
mining towns.
crazy.
Okay, now we're going to go to Charlie Daniels, the late great Charlie Daniels from Christmas Down South, 1999, and this is a nice combination of originals and
Nice.
um
On his red boots.
and some classics. And,
Very
and
cool.
I know nobody here has ever heard Jesus is the light of the world.
Chuck says, I'm going to have to go watch the classic It's a Wonderful Life. That's right,
There you
Chuck.
go.
We're putting you in the mood.
We're
See there?
inspiring you. There you go.
Yeah.
Jesus is the light of the
All
world
right,
by
let's
Charlie
go for it.
Daniels.
Is the light of the world. And the best part is even though he's gone away, he'll be coming back someday. Jesus is the light of the world.
Look at that.
Jesus is the light of the world.
All right.
Jesus is the light of the world.
That's awesome. Some of these singers that we've listened to all our lives, that their songs, they got great voices. Obviously, they're highly talented and successful. But when you listen to his voice extended out on a word it's beautiful. And Luke Bryan's like that. Luke Bryan, sometimes their songs are so fast that you don't get to hear the real essence of their voice, but it's beautiful. And his is awesome.
And you think of Charlie as the party
Yeah.
guy. One day, 15 years at least ago, maybe 20, I saw him out at the racetrack doing a concert afterwards,
hmm
and he had CDs for sale, and he had a gospel CD,
Yeah.
nothing but gospel
I bet
songs,
it was
and I
good.
played it, and
Yeah.
it's just songs like that, and
Yeah.
it was
I'm gonna have to
wonderful.
make me a playlist of these songs. All right, you're on to Gonzo, Jerry Jeff Walker, right?
Christmas Gonzo Style, 1994, by my man, the late great Jerry Jeff Walker, and that is all covers, no originals, but I think it's a pretty rockin'
Let's go
Jingle
for
Bell
it.
Rock. Let's
Hit it,
rock it here,
Sam.
Sam.
Hit it. Get up and dance, Chuck.
Well, it's
Connect the
jingle
dots.
bell,
Y'all get out there and
jingle
dance.
bell, jingle bell rock, jingle bell swing and jingle bell ring, snowing and blowing in bushels of fun. Now your jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, jingle bell chime and jingle bell time. You're dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, it's the right time, it's the right time.
Sammy's
to rock
dancing. Look at
this
Chuck. Chuck's on it.
night
Don't
away.
throw a hip out, Chuck.
Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Yeah.
That's good.
Oh,
I saw
God
a
bless you,
meme
so-
the other day. A lady posted, said, "I think I'm just going to jingle halfway
You're just
because the song
halfway.
is Jingle All the Way." She's going to jingle halfway.
Okay,
That's
now
good.
now we're gonna go to the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw them about a year and a half ago at the Longhorn Ballroom
All right,
with
lay
my
it on
ran.
us.
And before you do, this one's called One Christmas Tree, and just we're only playing snippets, so I need you to understand is for anybody who has blended families.
Yeah.
And I don't mean blended racially. I mean
Yeah.
blended by more than one set of parents in it. This is a song. The first time I heard it, I was close to crying, and I hope not to cry today. Here we
All
go.
right, Sammy.
One Christmas tree.
Hit it.
Our kids have 2 trees, one in each of our homes. Yours with antique balls and mine with dime store globes. Their Christmas wishes, as simple as it's clear, that their parents' pride and anger disappear.
Ooh.
This year at Yuletide, here's how we'll do it. We'll put up one Christmas tree, then gather round it, sing hallelujah, peace on earth, and to our family.
Very good. Sammy, did you see Chuck's note?
Oh, thank you, John.
And Beverly, we love it too.
I'm
Thank
glad-
you for
I'm-
being here.
Hey, I'm doing this just
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you,
because
Chuck.
I love this music.
This is
okay?
I'm making a playlist after we're done today.
Well,
All right, what do we got
yeah,
now?
You got this.
Yeah, I got to go find all of them.
Okay, so now
Oh my goodness.
this is the Squirrel Nut Zippers, and I was telling Scott the other day I'm gonna play him a song called "The Tale of the Magi." By the way, this is all original songs. This is a kind of a jazz band from the Carolinas,
All right.
and this Tale of the Magi. I was getting ready to put it on the list, and I was listening through it to get the cuts for when they start, so Sammy can do this right. And I thought, you know what? This gal has got the whiniest hillbilly voice, and I'm going to turn everybody off. But I got to have something from this CD, and this is a original song with a different approach to Christmas, and it's called "Indian Giver,"
Lay it on us.
and you'll know why when you hear it.
Lay it on us, Sammy.
I've got a friend who lives across town,
That's a woman.
and every year when Christmas rolls around, he gives me my Christmas present in a paper sack.
You understand what that means? Bottle.
And 2 hours later he wants it back. He's an Indian giver. I ran to my mama, I was hollering and crying.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you want these songs, Jeff has a list of them here. He'll be happy to send them to you, Jeff@waxahachiesound.com. Because this might be it's definitely one of my future Christmas playlists.
It is.
That's good right there.
Because if you're liking these snippets, you're going to like the whole
Squirrel
album.
Nut Zippers.
Squirrel Nut
Imagine that. And the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, man, they've been good for so long.
no doubt.
And then they're one of the bands you could not know who's playing before you hear the song, and when you hear the song, you say, "Oh, that's Nitty Gritty Dirt Band." It's kind of Bellamy Brothers. You know, I don't have to know that's them. Somebody doesn't tell me that. I can hear the song and know that's them. You know,
I bought this CD, Cheers, It's Christmas. It's a Blake Shelton CD, and I got it for my wife for Christmas one year, and she told me that this one song she'd always loved. This is a 2015 CD, and this is called Home. And he, as I was looking it up for our playlist,
that's a great song.
I saw a number of different versions. He has more than one Christmas album.
Well, he sings a great version with Michael Bublé.
And that's what
Yeah.
this is.
Oh,
This is the Michael Bublé version
It's
of
incredible.
Home. So take it away, Sam.
Yeah, that's awesome.
another Christmas day will come and go away, and I've got so far to go, but I wanna go home. I need to go home. Maybe surrounded by strangers and Christmas lights, I shouldn't feel so alone, but I wanna go home. God, I miss you, you know. I can close my eyes and see the angel on the tree, a blanket of snow outside, and all my friends and family. And though I know that you're no further than a call away, I need to see your face. A call.
Yeah, if you don't, there's a great video of that concert where it's Bublé's
Mhm.
concert, and he says, "I want to introduce to you
Mhm.
now," and the song's going, and Blake walks out, and they just sing the song
And I
together.
didn't bother to look it up. Did Blake write this song?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
But Bublé is the one who made it famous.
All right. We're going to close with 1998 Christmas with Tammy Wynette.
Oh, my wife will love this, Tammy Wynette.
And these are all covers, but you know what? There's nothing wrong with covering Christmas songs.
Well.
So many of these songs that you hear, you've heard from 20 different people. Now,
And she's got a great voice.
but I'm telling you what, I don't know that I've ever heard this before. I don't think it's called. I think it's a nice way for us to close, and let's
Yep.
keep it in mind in light of all the things we talked about today. And it's called "Let's Put Christ Back in Christmas."
Amen.
Unto you is born this day a Savior. A baby boy was found there in a manger. The blessed truth of Christmas let us hear. Let's put Christ back into Christmas this year.
Very good, man.
Very
Another
nice.
voice. If you just listen to the voice, beautiful. That's what great song, great message. Great list, brother. Now
Hey.
you started a tradition. You better work on next year's already.
I'll do it.
And you know what we should do is for every holiday, we should have a list like this so we can get people in the spirit. I mean, Chuck's already probably pulled a muscle or two.
Yeah.
Beverly's into it, which this is awesome. Lots of people are going to be into it. I'm here, got the groove going. I mean, I know better than to sing while something's playing. That'll ruin everything. But that was awesome. All right.
Glad you
We got
enjoyed it.
just a few minutes. We're going to jump right into this day in history.
This day in history. We do it like we always do, oldest to newest. You all know the rules. And we're going to open with during the American Revolutionary War, General George Washington led his army of more than 12,000 soldiers to Valley Forge, PA, to camp for the winter. I guess they laid it down the arms for the whole cotton picking winter.
Yeah.
Wow.
1902.
Your knowledge
George
of the
Wash-
American
George
Revolutionary War.
Washington. Sam,
Sam, we love you.
1780.
1777.
I was close.
Dang.
Sammy,
Yeah,
George
but by the way,
Washington was the first president of the
I
United
am
States.
9-1, and I have 3 bonuses here. So,
Oh, now the pressure's really on.
Look
All
out,
right,
big
so I'm
boy.
1. All right.
and here's my one that I lost. So, I hope you do better. Fire broke out on the hangar deck of the nearly completed aircraft carrier USS Constellation at the New York Naval Shipyard, killing 50 civilian workers.
Mm.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't either.
Could
Dang,
be anywhere between 77
It was
and
an
today.
aircraft carrier?
It was a
Yes, sir.
hangar deck. Yeah,
Oh,
of a,
Of an aircraft
yeah,
carrier?
yeah.
So airplanes had to be around.
Airplanes had to be
Think,
around.
Sam. Airplanes?
1905.
No, airplanes. We didn't have airplanes in 1905, I don't think.
We didn't?
Well, Kitty Hawk was about that. but go ahead.
1947.
1960. Tough one.
What?
So we jumped from 1777.
In 1960.
Okay. It's the only one you can get wrong, and you need to get 3 bonuses. Here you go.
I'm all right.
Here we go. Apollo 17 splashed down in the Pacific concluding the Apollo program of crewed lunar landings. That's CREWED, not crude like crude oil. Apollo 17.
1983.
1966.
Dude.
I can't keep track of what Apollo which is which.
Well, it was the last one, and they
Okay.
went to the moon in
All right, what was it?
72. There we
And
go.
what did I said?
66.
So I got it.
You got it.
What are you
got it.
shaking your head at me
Yeah,
for?
Yeah, okay. Here we go. President Bill Clinton was impeached by the U.S. House of Representatives for perjury and obstruction of justice. He was subsequently acquitted by the Senate.
Well, I'll get it right because I don't know the exact year, but
Well, Chuck got that other one spot on.
look at Chuck.
96.
Would have been. I'd say 95.
98.
No.
Okay.
I'll take it.
And by the way, Beverly, Michael Bublé is the best, and
Yeah, he
Jesus is
rocks.
the reason for the season.
Yes, he rocks for
Here
sure.
we go.
Chuck said
Look at
93.
Chuck. Did Chuck get Chuck? What
Yeah, he
year
got
was
it.
it?
96.
Yeah, he got it right.
98.
I mean, he got the
Yeah.
time frame.
He got it.
Citing imminent danger to the national economy, President George W. Bush ordered a $17.4 billion emergency bailout of the U.S. auto industry.
2008.
2005.
You got the bonus with me there,
Booyah.
brother. Good job.
Booyah,
Dang it.
booyah. All right, so I got that. All right, so I'm 5-1 right now.
North
my
Korea announced the death 2 days earlier of leader Kim Jong-il. State media proclaimed his youngest son, and when I was doing this, I said, Rita, Scott's got a great nickname for this guy,
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
That's what Trump called him.
Kim,
Chuck got it right too.
yeah,
No,
Kim Jong Un is
Yeah.
the new leader. What year did Dad step down and Rocket Man came in?
So the last year was
the
the
last
previous
one was 2008.
2019.
No, that's Trump. He was 2014.
2011.
What?
'Cause
How many-
Trump he was already the little Rocket Man was already in place when Trump was president.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. The House January 6th committee urged the Justice Department to bring criminal charges against former President Donald Trump for the violent 20 blank Capitol insurrection, calling for accountability for the former president in a time of reflection and recognition. I got to say, the violent 2021 Capitol insurrection, that is
Yeah.
part of it.
So 2022.
2023.
2022.
Good, Sammy.
Finally.
That this is a topic for another day, but I hope every one of those sorry jerks go to prison, and namely Benny Thompson of Mississippi and Liz Cheney of Wyoming. They can all, you know what? Anyway,
Can we squeeze in there
very
one
good,
more?
huh?
Let's
You
run
got 1 minute.
1 minute.
But just 6, 7. I
This
was
reminds-
7-1. Thank you.
I did this after the event that Scott and I played golf at the other day. I wrote this poem on a golf course, and it's the only biographical poem I've ever written. It's called Lucky Man. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I lead a great life, and I've got a mighty fine wife. I've
Yes,
got a
you do.
terrific job because it doesn't feel like a job. I work on Saturday, and it feels like a kid who went out to play. I'm a marshal at a golf course, and I try not to be hoarse. I show newcomers the ropes. To the regulars, I give hopes. On each and every shot, they're giving it all that they've got. No matter what they score, they'll be back for.
More.
In golf, there's plenty of fame, yet also full of regulars in a lifetime game. Friends play with strangers, and strangers become friends. The dying Lou Gehrig claimed to be the luckiest man on the face of the earth. But if you ask me, I've joined him on that birth.
Very, very good. Very good. Wow,
Wow.
that was a good poem.
Thanks.
So there you go. That's our show. 1 week.
Meme of the day.
6. Yep. Oh, meme of the day. I got to share that. We're going to go 1 minute over here. But the meme of the day, Sammy's got it on the screen. What does a thesaurus eat for breakfast? A synonym roll.
I love it.
That's a dad joke if I
That
ever
is a
heard
dad
one.
joke if you ever
All
did
right.
hear one.
So we want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Please be safe. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the small things. Take them all in. Uh, just have a really good time and don't worry about stuff. I mean, there's nothing worrying's going to do for you other than make it worse. It'll rob you of time tomorrow, the next day. So just enjoy every second. And as Jeff has alluded to in a number of different ways here, and as I certainly believe, Christ is the reason for this season, and that we do need to, as Tammy Wynette saying, put Christ back into Christmas.
And all that being said, don't write a check you can't cash. Boom.
Pony up.
Boom.
Yeah.
Good job.